Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, Atlanta Falcon fans, Atlanta Falcons Nation, Dirty Bird Nation, everything ATL? We stopping in, doing a quick interview this morning with our good friend Scott Kennedy.
Yes, sir.
He does his thing on SI, man. He's been a Falcon. Um, he's covered the Falcons for a very long time. SI, all that good stuff. But I'm not gonna bore y'all. We're gonna let Scott introduce himself before we get started. Scott, take it away.
Well, hey, I'm Scott Kennedy. I do the Falcons podcast. I'm a morning guy. So when you want to come see me on the morning shows, you can hit me at youtube.com/Scott Kennedy. I'm real easy to find. And we go Monday and Wednesday. And I've added an evening show with Garrett Chapman, who covers the Falcons for us over at falconssi.com. And he's doing a good job. So we're expanding a little bit, but happy to be on here with Smitty and A1, two friends of the program, and happy to be here with y'all today.
Hey, man. Great to see you again, Scott. I mean, I saw you at the training camp, but wasn't able to get up there to you, man. You skedaddled so fast. I was like, man, where is it? But yeah, man, it was still great to have you on the show. Definitely want to get your opinionated thoughts about everything. And let's just get this thing going, man. Let's talk about some Falcon football.
Facts.
It's good for
Now
me.
that we
Where do you
have
want to
the
start?
we can start with what happened yesterday.
Well,
The cuts. Was there anybody in particular that you were surprised that were cut, or somebody that you feel like that they may bring back today to the practice squad?
I think there's a bunch of guys they're going to try and bring back to the practice squad. You know, they hitting there, Rusty. I know, Rusty. I saw you this morning. Thank you, sir. Coming in, there's a lot of guys on there, and specifically for me, the UDFA's. You know, there were some undrafted free agents that we're pretty excited about. Not one of them made the 53.
yes.
So, you know, you're looking at defensive lineman Simeon Barrow.
Yes.
You're looking at wide receiver Nick Nash, cornerback Kobe Bryant. Those are three off the top of my head, and I felt like there were four that I was thinking of, so I'm forgetting somebody off the top of my head. So there
maybe
were those three.
Josh Simon, maybe?
Josh Simon was the fourth one. Tight end Josh Simon was the fourth one that we expect. And I think they're allowed to re-sign them as of about 5 minutes ago. So while we are live, that news should probably still go out that those four, I would expect those four guys to be back for sure.
Oh, that would be great. That's great news to hear. Let me ask you this now. Now, it's not necessarily about anyone being cut, but about someone being placed on IR, and that's Caleb McGarry. I mean, he's gone for the season now. Do you think that them saying that yesterday was just, pretty much you don't have to let information out about injuries until the season officially starts, or do you feel like he was getting a second opinion? What do you feel about that?
I don't know. I do get a little tired with the cloak and dagger stuff, to be honest with you. You know, it's I was thinking about it. It's like, you know, I've done some work with the Broncos and I still produce one of their podcasts, and I watch Sean Payton, and we all know Sean Payton is an ass. You know, Sean Payton knows he's an ass. It's not like a big secret. This isn't a hot topic. And I even said on there, I was like, you don't mind that he's an a-hole when he's your a-hole. You know, that's okay.
Right.
He's your guy. He's a great coach.
Right.
But he's really snippy with the media when they ask about injuries and all this stuff. Now let's contrast that to Raheem Moore, who does everything with this giant megawatt smile on his face. But at the end of the day, they both tell you the same thing. Nothing.
Right.
They tell you nothing. Sean's just a butthead about it. And Raheem's like, oh, yeah, it's great. Things are good. Everything's great. It's great. How are you? You're great. Good. I'm great. We're all great.
Yeah.
No, we're not. Caleb's out for the season.
Right.
You know, so it's that kind of stuff. I just kind of start rolling my eyes about it. And I don't know why. Why are we hiding this? Is because you don't want people to know you're desperate in the trade market? And, well, you got Mike Jarrell. That was what you were holding out for? You know, so I don't really understand it. Maybe they're going for a second opinion on this, but the long and the short is it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're in trouble at right tackle. They need to do some more. There's ways to mitigate the loss of McGarry and Storm Norton. And a big part of that is how good tight end Charlie Warner is. You know, he's going to be in the hip pocket of the right tackle all season, whether that was McGarry or not. You've got one of the best blocking tight ends in football. He's going to be your blindside protection over there with whoever they put in at right tackle, whether it's Jarrell or whether it's Wilkinson or somebody else for the first month of the season.
Agreed.
Are we done addressing it?
No, if you're listening after the fact, I'm shaking my head. You might be done, but you're not done trying.
Okay.
You're out there. There's, I was looking at the Bills waivers. They waived 8 guys. The Lions, they waived 8 guys. Linemen, offensive linemen now.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if I say 8 times 30, that's 240 offensive linemen that just got waived. You're running through the resume, the CV on all of those guys. Now, there might not be anybody that's better than what you've got, but you're looking. Terry's looking. I promise you that.
You're right. Got to. What you got, Smitty?
Now, how do you feel like Zach will how he would counter not having McGarry on that right side? How do you think he would counter that? Calling plays.
The good news is if you go with Eli Wilkinson there as an interior lineman, his strong suit should be Tiff Raines. His strong suit should be the running attack as an interior lineman, right?
Absolutely.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He's not going to be as good as Caleb McGarry in the running game. Caleb McGarry's arguably the best run blocking right tackle in football.
Absolutely.
He's
Absolutely.
in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But the fall off shouldn't be as bad as if you went with a finesse guy over right who's a better pass blocker. Caleb McGarry's not a great pass blocker. We know this. That's why Charlie Warner got more snaps than Kyle Pitts at the end of the season last year, because Charlie Warner is there to help protect Caleb McGarry and by definition, Michael Penix. That doesn't necessarily change. So you might not be as good running the ball, but I still have Chris Lindstrom, Charlie Warner on that side of the line of scrimmage. I should still be able to dictate to the right side in the running game. So I think you'll move the pocket a little bit more, and you don't see Charlie Warner out running routes very often anyway. You might not ever see him out there beyond the line of scrimmage now. But overall, I don't know how much it changes, honestly. I don't think it's going to change a ton, because what you're getting in strength from his replacement is similar to what Caleb McGarry was good at, and weaknesses. So it's a like for like. It's just his strength probably isn't as good, and his weaknesses are probably even worse. So you might be getting Caleb McGarry light out there, so to speak.
Agreed.
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't sound good, Scott. I'm sorry.
It doesn't. It doesn't. Again, and Charlie Warner's going to be big in this. I'd feel worse if Charlie wasn't out there. If it was Kyle Pitts putting his hand in the dirt in the rubber pellets on the right side next to the right tackle, I'd be scared to death for Michael Penix.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No, absolutely. I totally get that. So as far as it seemed like the Falcons, when you look at that 53, 52 man roster, it seems like they really prioritize special teams. I know they were like bottom of the league in special teams before. So it's like you want to get better in that aspect, because you see guys like D'Angelo Malone make the team. We know he's the special teams ace, but you also had other guy, and not just him, Jamal Agnew, even though he's been injured, we know that's that speed, that specialist in special teams, and guys like Nick Nash and Chris Blair didn't make it. How do you feel about the Falcons kind of prioritizing that with this 53?
Mike Ford, he's another one.
Yeah,
and the question I asked, and Terry, thank you for the good morning and the happy anniversary. And it's cool because there's some folks in here that are saying, hey, that I don't get to see live, but they're basically telling me, hey, I watch you, even though I don't get to watch you live. So that's cool. So thank you for checking in. I asked this question before, and the one that really just kind of scratches your head a little bit is D. Alford, because he was so poor last year. But the question I have, I'll answer that question with a question. I know how annoying that is. These special teams guys, who are you upset that didn't make the team because they did? Who? CJ Henderson? Maybe? Simeon Barrow, he'll be re-signed, and I had no expectation of him making the team, period. I thought they'd go with 6. And I thought the 6 might be Contavious Street. I never thought Simeon Barrow was making this roster.
Really?
Maybe, Fuller, but now you've got a bunch of is Fuller better in coverage than the 3 guys you're going to have out there? More, maybe he might be signed again. He might be signed. It's 12:15. They've had 15 minutes. he might be signed back to it already. So this is an initial 53. It
Right.
won't be the same roster that we see in a week from now.
Probably.
To get back to your point though, Chris, the special teams were arguably the worst unit in NFL last year.
Right.
It gets overlooked because the defense was so freaking bad.
Right.
Everybody focuses on Jimmy Lake and the defense that you kind of forget a little bit. You don't pay attention as much. The punt coverage units were bad. The kickoff coverage units were bad. We know Younghoe Koo had his worst season. We know that.
Yes.
The special teams were arguably across the board the NFL's worst and for sure bottom 5. You can improve those pretty quickly with some intermittent personnel changes. So I'm okay with it because there's nobody on the back end of the roster where I'm like, wait, you cut that guy? You cut CJ Fuller to keep a special teams ace? Yeah, so what?
Right,
Nick Nash. Oh, was Nick Nash the difference in this team? Kobe Bryant, he didn't have the special teams. Kobe Bryant didn't have a good camp. He didn't earn his spot in this camp.
Yeah,
right.
Hopefully he'll be back
I know
on the
he was
53 and have
too.
a chance to. I mean, on the practice squad and have a chance to do that moving forward. But there's nobody on the roster, and that speaks to the roster and the lack of depth. Period. That they cut. That I was like, I can't believe you kept that guy for that guy. I can't believe it. There ain't no one.
Yeah, there was no. Real
I can agree. As C.J. Henderson was the only guy I thought of, and people ask me why did Felipe Franks make it. He's a good special teams player.
Right.
And like you said, we were at the bottom of the league, special teams. So yeah, I get it. And that's what he was aiming for. And if y'all have noticed, he's been aiming for those type players all off season with the side of Agnew, players like that. Then you have Kadarius Hodge coming back. Like you said, that's why D'Angelo Malone is on the roster. But what position do you feel like this team is its strongest right now?
Is it strongest? The easy answer is probably running back.
Right.
Of
course.
Overall, it's funny if you look at the rankings because Michael Penix hasn't really done a whole lot. He's going to be lower. He's going to be ranked in the 20s like most first-year guys are, and he is a first-year starter. We know what he did last year, and we know we're excited for him. But he's going to be ranked in the 20s. But if you project what you think he can be this year, and then with a $40 million backup, the quarterback room is in pretty good shape. Not financially, but as far as if I need to roll out my backup, I should be okay out there. I like the weapons overall on the whole, even though we talk about the wide receiver depth, and it's like, well, you took 7 wide receivers, and it felt like when I said it this morning, it felt like a contradiction in terms.
Facts.
But the problem is it's you've got one Mooney we're not sure about, and then 3 through 7 are just kind of all the same guy. I'm okay if it was Ray McLeod or Chris Blair. I'm okay with that. But you've got Drake. We'll see about Darnell. We haven't seen him since day one when he went down on that play.
Bro.
Hey Scott, we were there. We were right
there.
We were right there. The front
I know.
Yeah.
And if something happens to Drake, and Darnell's your number, everybody moves up a notch. We got problems in Atlanta, y'all. So
that's true.
That one's thin. But I'm always looking forward. It's like, yeah, you could use another receiver right now. If I could have one player that I think could improve this team the most before the right tackle problem, I might go cornerback.
Yes,
and then I might go receiver.
I can go.
Then I might go receiver. But building for the future, they've got to start looking at offensive tackle, and then the lack of investment in the cornerback room over the last 5 years has been pretty dreadful. That's got to change too. But now no first round draft pick next year, but hell, straight up for 2027. Use a 27 guy. So they've got to address offensive tackle and cornerback in this next offseason.
Definitely. We were saying that as well, Scott, that hey, this offensive tackle is going to have to be offensive line, period. We've been, trying to get that defense right because we've been calling for that, right? Let's just try to address this pass rush, try to address the pass rush. And I feel like they got after the defense this year. So, yes, moving forward, we got to look at that O-line because of Jake Matthews, Caleb McGarry, et cetera, et cetera. But I want to ask you about this youth movement that we have going on here. Youth moving on the D-line, man. Zach Harrison, Brandon Dorless, what also Ruka Roro. I know we have a couple of veterans, David Amanyata and maybe LaKale London there, but we just look at that defense. We have this youth movement going on. Are the Falcon faithful a little bit too overconfident with this defense right now with how young these guys and the lack of snaps that we have? There's
a yes and there's a no in there.
Okay.
So if you say, like, what are your expectations? Okay. What are your expectations? If you're expecting a top 10 defense that's going to go out and get 50 sacks next year, yes, you're overconfident.
Okay.
That said, Marquez, hopefully you're doing well. Good afternoon. Appreciate you checking in. The bar was set so low last year that if you were confident that this will be an improved defense, I'm with you. I am 100% with you. I am confident this defense will be better than it was last year.
Yeah.
Get better. That's all I ask for. I mean, we grew up Atlanta sports fans, right? We're not title town here. I'm not looking for a Super Bowl, World Series, NBA championship every year. Right. I'm looking for improvement. Get better, get better, get better.
Right.
This defense will be better. Getting back to the youth movement you talked about, 7 of the last 8 rounds 1 through 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 2 years, 7 of the last 8 picks in the first 4 rounds in the Falcons NFL drafts have been on defense.
Yep.
The exception has been Michael Penix Jr.
Facts.
They built the offense through the draft. They supplemented it with free agency in 2023. Jesse Bates, Caden Ellis, Bud Dupree, Calais Campbell, et cetera, et cetera. 2024, they invested in the defense. 2025, they went hard into the defense with that. And, I worry a little bit about it. Is it going to end up being too late? Because no, you're not going to have a top 10 defense. Boy, you've got some exciting pieces.
Yeah.
But is it going to be too late, where we end up seeing too many of those games like we did at the end of last season with Washington and Carolina, where it's exciting and it's fun, but the defense just can't slow guys down? I don't expect that. I say it without hyperbole. That was the worst coach defense I've ever watched at a major level. It's not the worst defense I've ever seen because these guys had players, but it's the worst coach defense I'd ever seen. The worst schemes defense I've ever watched.
Right.
I am confident this defense will improve. If you are confident that they get 50 sacks and they're a top 10 defense, you're 2 years ahead of schedule.
Agreed.
I like that.
And what do you feel like with Jeff Aubrey? What type of scheme do you feel like he's going to bring, and what type of energy he's going to bring to this defense?
For me, I feel like the schemes are all kind of similar to as far as like the lineups. Are you going to be a 3-4 or a 4-3? Yes, you're going to be all that. You're going to be a nickel and dime, and you may only be a 3-4 for first down, and then it all changes. So it's all very multiple. When they say that word, I agree. The difference we saw it in camp. Y'all were there. We've seen them talk it and walk it, is attack. It's attack, attack, attack. Not get on your bicycle and go backwards when you're already 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, and I leave poor J.D. Bertrand in the middle of the field ready to cover acres of space, or Nate Landman. It's insanity. Last year, I looked at it last year. How many defensive linemen did the Falcons keep this year?
5, I believe.
Five in the interior. Right.
Do you remember how many they kept last year?
Like, was it 7?
It was 9.
9. Okay.
Wow.
They kept 9, and then they go to a 2-4-5 prevent defense as their base. You keep 9 defensive linemen, and you go to a 2-man front.
They did. Yep.
What the hell is the matter with you?
Oh gosh, you're right. Yeah. That's what I was. I knew it was definitely more than 5 last year.
Yeah.
But it felt like only 7 because a couple of those guys we barely saw.
Attack. That's what I'm going to say. I expect to see attack. I expect to see these guys going forward. I expect to see one-on-ones beating the man in front of them, not just sitting there trying to hold them and let poor JD and Nate try and make plays. Caden could do it. Troy Anderson could do it. Troy Anderson's never on the field. Divine Diablo is going to be a huge upgrade, and I don't blame JD and Nate for being those guys. If JD Bertrand is on the field, we're going to see him closer to the line of scrimmage, trying to attack the backfield. We're not going to see him 10 yards off the line of scrimmage trying to run with slot receivers across the middle of the field.
Right.
Right. And I know actually a lot of Falcon fans were looking at J.D. Bertrand in preseason. They wasn't impressed. Let's just say that they wasn't impressed. A lot of people are surprised that he made the team, but we're kind of thin at linebacker as it is. So somebody's got to make it, correct?
Yeah, I wouldn't feel overly safe if I was him. Even though you played, you see it all the time. It's like I've seen guys that led their team in tackles. They get waived the next year. We saw it 2 years ago. I've already forgotten his name. 2022, the leading tackler, 2021, and he couldn't get a job the next year.
Yeah, was it
I forgot his linebacker. Somebody in the chat will help us out. But he was
Michael Walker, right?
No, it wasn't Mike because he was outside. It was one of the inside guys. It was a 1-year free agent guy, and then they didn't bring
Nate
him back.
Lamon. Nate Lamon.
Wasn't Nate? He was there a couple of years.
Yeah,
Somebody will help me.
A couple years. It was a guy that we had, and oh man, now I'm trying to rack my brain because
the guy from Rashawn Evans. Yeah, Evans.
It was Rashawn Evans. I was like, I think it was an Alabama guy, but I couldn't remember for sure. He has 100 and something tackles, then he's out of work. So we see that happen all the time. And thank you, Shane.
Appreciate you, Shane.
And Michael, good to see y'all today. So JD is who he is. He's going to play hard. He's going to work hard. You know what you're going to get out of him. Don't put him in space. This isn't rocket science. No matter we try and make this sound really, really hard, football is super complicated. It's not. Bigger, faster, stronger wins. Don't do stupid stuff. Okay. Like run a 2-man front with 9 defensive linemen. That's dumb. That is not, I'm not in sync. My coaches and my front office are not communicating with one another on how we're supposed to win games.
Yeah.
No, that's true. No, you can't argue with that at all, man. What you got, Smith?
So with Zach Robinson, Michael Penix, with what they did last year, those 3 games, what do you feel like they worked on this offseason to get better, and how they brought their communication along? And we've been seeing him through interviews, showing that he's picked up a lot of things. Mentally, he's grown as well. What do you think they worked on this offseason to get to that spot right now?
I think a lot of it is timing. You never got the chance to do that. The first time Michael Penix gets to throw to Darnell Mooney is Wednesday of week 16 before his first start.
Right.
So a lot of that is these guys getting to work together and timing. The one thing I hedge on this is Kyle Pitts, and the timing that they've been, the bonding that they've put together. I'm in on Kyle Pitts this year. I mean, I know I'm as cynical as anybody, y'all. I'm a child of Atlanta sports in the 80s. Go look up the records of the Braves and the Falcons.
Oh, yes. Lord.
We lived through all of this stuff. I know. But Kyle Pitts looks different out there. He's got some shake and some wiggle to him. He's got a burst that I haven't seen. Plus, he's in a contract year. Well, he's just going to have a big year, and then they're going to give him a big contract. They don't have to. Franchise tag him. Tight ends are cheap. Put a $15 million, make him do it again. Franchise tag him. And then if you want to trade him, at least you're coming off of a good season instead of, I might be able to get a day 3 pick for him. So you want Kyle Pitts to be the man this year. And if he doesn't want to be here, if you don't want to give him the franchise him and trade him, that's fine. But you want him to have a big year. With Zach, I think Zach is just continuing to improve his flow of the game. And we saw that go throughout the year. For a first-time play caller, I thought he did really well last year. Falcons finished 6th in total offense last year. They stumbled down some in the red zone. It was like 15th. Wasn't as good in the red zone. Some of that has to do with your kicking problems. There's some things it changes the way you coach his games when it's 4th and 3 on the 40. You might go for that. Well, now you have to go for it, because you can't kick from anything from outside of 45 yards.
Right.
But with Michael, I think it's just familiarity with everything. I know where the guys are supposed to be. I know what he's calling, and it's just experience and syncing everything up. And then calming down a little bit. He's not going to have to be the Superman out there. We don't want him playing from behind and having to make the big time throws. It's like, he's 56% percentage completion. Yeah, but he also led the league in that time in big time throws. Let's take the easy stuff.
True.
Let's take the easy stuff. I don't always have to go for the home run, but I would rather try and pull a guy back than just watch a guy check down, who's afraid to throw it downfield.
Exactly.
Agreed.
Yep, expand that playbook. So let's circle back to Darnell Mooney. Okay, so we know last year he couldn't become 1,000 yards. He couldn't even get 8 yards because of a shoulder injury last year. Now he's out with a shoulder injury, first day of training camp. We haven't heard anything. It's been CIA, DEA, about everything as far as information from the Atlanta Falcons about really players, because you see how we found out about Storm Norton. But also, I just want to know, how concerned are you about just Darnell Mooney, the player, staying healthy for the Falcons this season?
I am concerned. Before, if he's healthy, you're like, okay, he should break 1,000 easy peasy.
Right.
But, we talk about this and we start talking about the second year of the offense and Penix being able to stretch the field and we should have more room in the running game. All of these great things. Not everybody is going to have a career year. There's only one football on offense. Somebody's going to have to regress. Going into that, you're like, okay, who's it going to be? If Bijan's going to go for 2,000 yards and we think Drake's going to go for 1,500 yards, Kyle Pitts is going to have his best season ever. There's only one football. Where is it going to come away from? Who's going to disappoint? Ray McLeod? Does he get 700 yards again? Probably not. Probably not. But right now, the answer on that for me is Mooney. Is Mooney going to be a 1,000-yard guy right now? Until I start seeing him out there making plays, he would be. Who regresses? Everybody can't go up. Not everybody. It's pretty much impossible. They can, theoretically, but they're not gonna. So if Bijan is up, Drake is up, Pitts is up, who's coming down a little bit?
Right. I think it had to be Ray because
my first thought was Ray. Yeah.
Yeah, he overachieved anyway because we've always known him to be a special teams player. You get 60 catches, 600 yards out of him, that's a plus. So this year's Ray McLeod, to me, it probably gonna have to be Casey Washington if he has to play for Darnell Mooney to start week 1. So I think he'll be the Ray McLeod of 2025 for the Falcons.
Yeah. So I was with you on that. And then, we talk about, Casey Washington stepped into Mooney's spot. No, I don't see that.
No,
I'm saying if he's hurt.
No. I'm sorry. I'm moving on. I'm not refuting what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no.
I got you.
I'm talking about like, how is this team going to line up? And a lot of it was talking about how Casey, who's going to step in for Darnell Mooney? Kyle Pitts.
Right.
True.
Because
number 2 target.
Kyle Pitts is lining up in the slot or out wide. Your three
definitely.
receivers right now are Ray McLeod, Kyle Pitts, and Darnell. If Mooney comes back healthy, it's Kyle Pitts, Mooney, and Drake London.
Right.
I think I messed that up in there somewhere. But
yeah, we know what you meant.
Pitts is in competition with McLeod if everybody is healthy.
Right.
That's who's in those two are in competition. Last year, Pitts lost out. Pitts isn't in competition with Charlie Warner. He's in competition with the receivers. And right now, I think he's ahead of McLeod if Mooney is healthy, but he's not. So the three you're going to see out there are London, Pitts, and McLeod, and they rotated them through all 3 wide receiver spots.
That's true.
All 3 spots.
And breaking news right now, we do have at least one spot that's been already talked about. Nick Nash has been signed back to the practice squad as we anticipated that, but he is officially back, apparently, just waiting on the rest of those results. And that's the kind of stuff that you can get. But I want to know this, though. All right, you was just illustrating about, about these guys battling for time, battling for the football. If Darnell Mooney does have to miss week 1, week 2, etc., couldn't Kyle Pitts just slide right into that number 2, slot behind Drake London?
I think it's actually McLeod. It's
Really?
McLeod that does that because I think if everybody's healthy, your 3 receivers are London, Mooney, Pitts. Since Mooney has been out, it's been London, Pitts, McLeod. So, yes, I think he goes. And you've seen McLeod out wide. You've seen him in the slot. You've seen Pitts out wide. You've seen him in the slot. Where you don't see Pitts is with his hand down in the rubber pellets.
Yeah, that's what
He's playing wide receiver this year, whether you want to call that he's slot or outside. And frankly, up until last year, he was 70% slot or out wide anyway. Last year was his highest time in line, which was 50%. So through his career, we should make him a wide receiver. He is. We should make him a tight end. They tried that last year too. So this is the final season of the Kyle Pitts experiment. And if it doesn't hit, he'll be gone. If it does, then you've got really good options with Kyle Pitts. But Pitts is your replacement for Mooney right now.
Agreed. And as I've been saying, I feel like Kyle, to me, he's the player that's going to open up this offense because with his size, being able to open up the field, being unguardable, this helps Bijan and Tyler and Michael Penix. So I think it's boom or bust at this point. If by the trade deadline, if he's doing what he needs to do, you keep him. If not, and somebody else is outshining him, you got to think about moving him at that point.
Yeah, and last year they did. Last year it was Charlie Warner at tight end and Ray in the slot, and Kyle getting second team snaps. Last year they did. Things look different this year between Michael Penix and Kyle Pitts being golf buddies. That's one factor. Right. The money, he's in a contract year, is another factor. And the third factor is he just looks better. He looks quicker out there.
Let me ask you this. Do you think all that, of course, he has to put in the work, but this is also the first time you've actually heard Kyle Pitts be like vocal about a quarterback and, all the things he's willing to do. Oh, I'm looking at Tony Gonzalez and Matt Ryan. I'm looking at Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. I want that with my quarterback. This is like his sixth quarterback, and this is his first time saying that about any of them.
Oh, well, see, now you're going to get me back into how stupid it was to draft him to begin with.
I don't want to get into that because I was on that train too.
Now you're going to get me back into this. It doesn't matter which side you fall on. Oh, Kyle Pitts isn't very good, or two, he hasn't had a quarterback. Okay, all you're saying is it wasn't a very good draft pick. And taking a pass-catching tight end, number 4 overall, with a crap offensive line, a Swiss cheese defense, and a 36-year-old aging, noodle-armed, expensive quarterback was not a great idea. Well, so, that said, that's all past.
Oh, man.
That's all past. That's all gone. He's 24 years old. He's in the you burned through his rookie contract like we predicted 4 years ago before you actually have your quarterback situation settled. He's still young. He's still 24 years old. Part of this is maturing. And again, I give 3 really valid reasons why I think Kyle Pitts can become a top 5 tight end in this league. I mean, we talk about this. It's not hard to be a top 10 receiver. Really, it's not. It's 600 yards. He was close last year. Tight end.
Agreed.
Tight end numbers, even though I keep calling him receiver. I know. 800 yards and 8 touchdowns puts him in the top 5 range of tight ends.
Now, do you think now I'm going down the rabbit hole, but let's just say Kyle Pitts has a great season and there's a contract dispute. Okay, I want to get paid like a wide receiver. That's how I'm getting played. That's how I'm, it's getting lined up and everything anyway. I want to get paid like a wide receiver. Do you think that there would be any kind of chance of Kyle Pitts requesting that if he has a boom season?
Oh, requesting is one thing. That absolutely. His agent would be negligent if he didn't point out where he lines up. His agent would be, I'd fire him on the spot.
Right.
But and I'd agree with him. Honestly, I would absolutely agree with him. He already got franchise tagged as a tight end. So there's precedent there. I mean, I'm sorry, his 5th-year option, he was given his 5th-year option as a tight end if it's like $11 million. It would have been 20 if he was a receiver, would have doubled. So if he's on the open market, he can make that argument. I don't think he'll have that choice with a franchise tag. I don't think it'll be up to him. And okay, he doesn't like it. And again, this goes back to he doesn't like that. That's fine. I'm going to franchise tag you $15 million guaranteed. If you want out, okay, well, now I have leverage. I've got a Kyle Pitts that's a top 5 player at his position and a year of control. Now I've got something to trade.
Yes.
You didn't have anything to trade this year. You had an $11 million asset and potential that has been a disappointment the last 3 years. You couldn't trade. It wasn't worth it.
Agreed.
But him having a good season And all the people, he's just going to get a big contract and then go back in the tank. No, franchise him. 1 year. Do it again. He's still 25 years old. Make him do it again. And if he doesn't like it, well, now I've got possibly a first-round pick that I can trade. At a second at least, instead of just dumping him for whatever you can. So you're rooting for Kyle Pitts. Even if you don't like him, you're rooting for him to have a big year because it gives the Falcons options.
And if they tag him next year and he goes somewhere the year after that, they get a comp pick, right?
It depends. They're not really good with the comp game, to be honest. And if they have money in free agency, they will spend and offset any guys you lose. They lost Ryan Newsel this year, signing Divine Diablo. It's not official yet. I said Ryan Newsel, Drew Dahlman. They lost Dahlman to a top 3 contract at center. And based on the formulas of people who are really good at this, Divine Diablo offsets that. And they did not get a comp pick despite losing a guy to a top 3 contract.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
They'll have money in the next couple of years. Theoretically, they should have some money. That Arthur Blank's going to spend. The problem with Blank's never been about spending the money like it was with the Smiths. Smitty, you're old enough for that. Chris, I don't know if you were.
Yeah, I was at the tail end. I came,
Yeah, they'll spend the money. The problem has been how they spend the money.
Right. But the last question I have, Scott, is we've been talking about this draft, and I feel to me it's one of the better drafts we had in a while. But I feel like all these draft picks could be starters by the end of the season. Since I would say 2011. Is this the best draft the Falcons ever had since 2011?
We'll see. It really – if Michael Penix ends up being a Hall of Famer, then that's the best draft, even if he's the only one that plays.
Right.
So it's judge it down the line. The big difference between this year and last year is last year they didn't draft a single guy they expected to help them in 2024. Not a one.
Agreed.
I can't say I've ever even seen that before. You spend $100 million guaranteed on a quarterback and then draft a bunch of reserves that you want to replace your 30-year-old starters. Like, it was a mixed message. This year, your first 4 guys drafted, you want to see play, and they should play. Health-wise, again, we should run a ticker at the bottom that says anything and everything I say is subject to injuries. Changes everything. Right. Billy Bowman starts.
That's true.
And I think he starts. Xavier Watts starts.
Yeah,
we're going to see a ton of Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr., even if they don't start, because what we've seen coming out early is Ryan Nielsen's offense, which was 3 down with a stand-up edge.
Facts.
Right. We've seen that more instead of 2, but when they go pass rush situations, we're going to see Leonard Floyd. We're going to see James Pierce Jr. That's a promise.
Right.
We're going to see those guys. So we're going to see a lot. So whether it ends up being the best, we'll see. But what I can promise you is we're gonna see. We're gonna see this year. We're not redshirting Rook and Dorless and Penix to sit out, and Braylon wouldn't have played a whole lot last year either, because he was behind some guys too. So we'll see. We're gonna see him. 7 of 8 of the first 4 rounds the last 2 years have been defensive players. We're gonna see all those guys this year. We're gonna see them all.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my last question is, all right, so we know we have a lot of guys we can be excited for. We alluded to that earlier in the show. But if you had to pick just one guy, not named Michael Penix, to have a breakout year, it can be a part of the youth movement. It can be a guy that you feel like has been a part of the team, but he just hasn't lived up to the potential possibly. But regardless, who is that guy for you that you have your eye on, or you're just hoping that he really booms for the Atlanta Falcons?
I mean, does Kyle Pitts qualify? I mean, he had a big rookie season, but that was 3 years is an eternity.
Yeah, that's
3 years is an eternity in the NFL.
Absolutely.
If he goes for 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns, does he qualify? So I would put him. But on the other side of the ball, the breakout guy, people are really going to start knowing who Caden Ellis is. He is really, really good. And unfortunately, really, really good players on the Atlanta Falcons have been victims of the Atlanta Falcons. Chris Lindstrom had to do it for 5 years before people realized, oh, wait, this guy's really good. Yeah, he's the best guard in the league.
Mm-hmm.
He's a victim of being on bad teams. On the other side of the ball, though, from Chris Lindstrom, the guy who kicked Morgan Fox off this team, who has looked fantastic in camp, is Zach Harrison.
Zach Harrison.
He's got a spot at 290 pounds in a 3-4 defense as one of the 3-4 defensive ends, and he has looked good. Now, we can talk about Rook. We can talk about, Devine. Does he have his best season? There's a lot of candidates over there with so many new faces. But I think Zach Harrison's the reason. Him and Brandon Dorlus is the reason why Morgan Fox is not on this team. And Zach has looked fantastic.
I'm so happy.
And that's a good thing. That's absolutely a good thing.
I've been pulling for Zach Harrison the past couple of seasons. I just feel like, he was coming along and he was gonna get it. And like you just said, Zach Harrison is looking good. Brandon Dorlus looks like, a lot of people are saying, oh, he's not getting the playbook. He's not getting the playbook. I'm like, he just needs the opportunities. And you're seeing that now. Kicking veterans off the team. That was $3 million that's gone now because your youth movement is.
But if I'm replacing them with rookie contracts, you can pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
There's just $3 million does mean something. That was where I got kind of frustrated with all the people. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. It's only $3 million. I'm like, there's only 23 players with a cap hit on the team greater than $3 million.
That's true.
So the other 30 players are $3 million or less. So $3 million matters, but I'm putting them in there. Now I got rookie contracts everywhere. Again, I got 7 draft picks in the last 2 years, and all of them are going to see the field if they stay healthy. But Zach's been looking good. Rook has been looking really good. If you focus on him, he's splitting double teams and getting into the backfield.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be an attack-minded front, and everybody's a little bit closer to the line of scrimmage. So they might give up more points.
Right.
It's not going to be, again, some of this is a mirage anyway. If I give up a 60-minute drive and only give up a field goal, I only gave up 3 points. I'm leading the league. I'm leading the league, but I just gave up a 60-minute drive. I didn't stop them. I didn't get them off the field. I didn't do my job.
Right.
I think there's going to be more possessions this year and maybe some higher scoring games. There will be more big plays. I'm not going to see 15 play, 10-minute drives for a score every single freaking week.
Yeah, that's not
last year.
Right.
Just absolutely terrible. Hey, man, I got to know. I'm sorry. I know this is the last question, seriously. Are you worried about Young Waku?
Young Waku, am I worried? I worry about everything, man. I mean, again, we grew up Atlanta sports fans.
Fan. Yeah.
My team's never going to get a guy. They're going to miss the kick. I mean, not only that, a lot of y'all, may not know this. I was actually born in Cleveland. So I am a Cleveland-born Atlanta sports fan. Wow. I have earned my right to be a cynical SOB. It's been a lot of pain through 50 years of being a sports fan.
Yeah.
I worry about everything.
Going against it. That's a lot.
I
think Koo is going to be significantly better this year? Yes, I do. He's healthy. Okay. Now, Kirk made the mistake of letting the inside thoughts out, trying to save his reputation and make himself look better by admitting 100%. That he was masking an injury.
Yep.
They all do that. Young Waku did that last year too. Every professional player has done that at some point in their career. They just don't talk about it. So Koo's healthy this year. It'll make a difference. And he won the kicking competition fair and square.
Agreed. Quick record prediction. Got to get your record prediction before you get out of here.
Hit it.
So your record prediction, what's your record prediction?
Oh, I thought I said like rapid fire. You're going to hit me with a bunch of questions, like one-word answers. I don't know. I feel like 10-7 is a good number for this team. With a floor of 7 and 10. I think I've set the number at 8.5 on the over-under on the smiling guy over my head and Terry Fontenot at 8. 8 wins, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. If they're 8-9 and miss the playoffs, I don't know. I would lean towards they're going to clean house. 7, I'm pretty sure they're going to clean house. 9, I think they're safe. 8, I waver a little bit.
Right.
So 10-7 feels like a good number, but the problem with this schedule, this is the hardest schedule they've had in a while. That 2023 schedule was probably the weakest schedule we will ever see in our lifetime.
That's
and they
true.
spit the bit with two guys who aren't even on NFL rosters right now, in Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ridder. Spit the bit on that one.
Ouch.
Wow.
The teams that you feel like you should beat, they're all on the road. The good teams are all at home.
Yeah.
It's like, man, you got the Bills at home, the Commanders at home, and the teams I feel good about beating for the most part, those are road games. But this team can win on the road. They showed it last year. They can also get beat by anybody. They showed that last year too. This team is good enough on offense to have a top 10 offense, and if their defense can go from bottom 3 to even mediocre,
beat up the road. Right.
It's a playoff team. Doug asked, did Koo really win the competition, Phyllis? Yeah, he did. He was definitely more consistent.
He was.
Over the course of a legitimate kicker competition, Doug. Koo won the job fair and square this offseason.
I agree. Because, the times that I was there when it was having that competition, most of the times Koo was winning the battle. Like Lenny may miss one or something, or they may go perfect, together. But, yeah, Koo won that battle, man.
Agreed.
Lenny got to work on that accuracy, I think, for me.
Yeah.
Boy, it's different, though, when he kicks it. It sounds different. It looks different. It's one of those, he's at 55 yards and the ball's at its apex when it goes over the crossbar. You're like, my God.
Right.
I'm old enough to remember Sebastian Janikowski. He gives me those vibes.
He's different. So it's one of those, it's like having a 100-mile-an-hour pitcher that can't throw strikes. And I'm not saying he's completely inaccurate, but if you dial it down to 98, you'll be a better pitcher. You don't have to kick 50-yard field goal 75 yards. It's just the maturation process. But man, he's different. He's really, really good. Got a strong leg.
True. But Scott, man, we want to thank you for coming through, man. We truly appreciate you, man. I enjoy watching you on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9
always
in the morning. So again, we will welcome you back on the show soon because you always give great insight. And before you go, please tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, just hit me up, youtube.com/Scott Kennedy. It's about as easy as it can be. If you're on X, I'm Scout Kennedy. I think it says that in the title. So on X, I'm Scout Kennedy. But best way to interact for me is youtube.com/Scott Kennedy. Come and see me.
That's what I'm talking about.
Great content.
Thank you for coming through. But Chris, you know what to do, man. No doubt. Chris, you know what to do, man. Tell everybody where to find you.
Hey, man. A1 Forever Sports, that's the platform on YouTube. Hey, be generational because there's always time to be. And make sure you find your peace because positive energy always creates elevation. That's how you find your peace. Come on over, have a Braves, Falcons, Hawks conversation. You just never know. You see, you have Scott Kennedy on today. You never know what you're going to have, especially messing with me and Smitty. Also, catch me on Twitter, A1 Forever. Instagram, A1 Forever, and the real A1 Forever on TikTok. Oh, and not to mention, please catch me on Hawks Digest as well. Me and Walter Parley getting ready for the regular season for the Atlanta Hawks as well. So you can catch me there as well too, man.
Facts. And y'all know where to catch me, man. Smitty Sports Machine as I bring y'all breaking news, debate topics. And thank everybody for tuning in to today's show. Truly appreciate it. Find me on Twitter or X at FatBoySlim_21. Because I'm always over there blowing it up because that's what I do. But until we talk to y'all soon, man, because news is going to keep breaking, I will try to bring y'all the practice squad very soon when it drops fully. And until then, we're going to holler at y'all, man, because we got to eat some lunch. Peace.